Hello, welcome to Paul's Take, and this is my take on the future. Is it real? Well, let's not say it was real, because of course there is a future one way or another. But I guess the big question is it already there? Is it something tangible that's there now, or is it like a blank slate where here's us and there's just nothing in front of us and we can just go anywhere we want, like just completely open to any possibility? Or does it exist in a parallel universe or in some kind of form that we just don't understand yet? Is it something that we can access now? What got me thinking about this was actually watching all the stuff about the coronavirus, and then I found on Facebook, which is obviously true about everything, but somebody had put out or took out a piece from a book that was written by a psychic medium, and offhand I don't remember the name. I'll put it right here, right there. And she predicted in her book before she died that in the year 2020 there will be a outbreak of some kind of something that attacks the lungs and the bronchial tubes or whatever. And she got it right. I mean, it says that it comes on strong and then it'll leave just as fast as it came. So at least there's that positivity to it. But how could she know that would happen? It's totally random. And then also there was what's that author's name? His author's name's right here. He wrote in a book that in 2020 there would be some kind of outbreak as well that was man-made, I believe it was. And the name he had was very similar to the coronavirus's official name. So like two different sources predicted it. And then you got that guy from way back when, Nostradamus, whatever his name is. And he has all these quatrains that predicted the future, even though they were all in code, and it seemed like you can almost make up something. You could fit it in. It's not like precise predictions. You could kind of almost, it's a little, I don't say vague, but it could be interpreted different ways. So he might have been legit, but it's just, anyway, let's just pretend he's semi-legit. Whatever, 1% legit, 2% legit. Let's just say whatever, it doesn't matter. And then of course you have these, if you're into weird stuff like me, you got these, you listen to the stories of people that are supposed to be from the future, and these events where there's this one guy that popped up into the street of a major city and got hit by a car. And they would investigate him. They checked his pockets, and I guess the guy looked confused, but they checked his pockets, and almost everything was in his pockets were that of another time period, like much older, before cars and stuff. And his attire was not of the time; it was from the same period of all this stuff. That's one thing to be like going to a party or something and you dress up like a certain way, but in this case, his stuff in his pockets, just a random receipts and tickets or whatever, they were of another time. So that's weird. So, anyways, there's different weird scenarios in the world, if you really look into it, that make you suggest that somehow people are either seeing the future, or they're coming from the future, or they're going in and out of wormholes or time traveling, some kind of event. Maybe, not saying 100% sure, but maybe all these stories could be all wrong. Maybe it's completely fake, all of them, but some of them sound very intriguing, very real. So even if any of it was true, even 1% of all the hundreds of different cases and scenarios were true, of either going in and out of the future or seeing the future, that would mean the future is there, right? Because if there was nothing, because there's one thing to like kind of see a trajectory, like if you keep working here, eventually this will happen, and like a likely outcome, because you can kind of kind of foresee the events that would cause a potential future. But if it's completely random, then when there's no, projection, then how could you foresee that unless the future exists right now in some other way? Now, of course, I've heard, and this is stuff from way back when, because I don't remember the sources, but there's a belief that there's really no such thing as time. Time does not really exist. And it's just our mind kind of comprehending the stuff around us that makes us feel like there's time, but it's not real. Is that possible? Is it? Or is it? Now there is one alternate possibility, at least when it comes to predicting the future. It doesn't help with the time travel. But there's also that possibility of, what do we call that thing? When you not so much will something, but if you say something about the future, and you tell people, then it's like you're creating the future. So then when you create the future by saying, in 2020 there'll be a virus, well, the universe makes it happen. So are these psychic people actually making a future, or is the future already there? Well, that's definitely a possibility when it comes to psychics. Because I know there was a story, what was it, my wife? Yeah, she went to a psychic person and predicted, I guess she was with her mother, and they predicted that her mother would meet somebody in this place, in this time, in this style, and this initials and all this stuff. And they kind of forgot about it. But then they did move to that certain place, and she did meet some guy with the right initials. How did he? That's pretty random. Unless, like I said, it could be the power of suggestion. The universe made it happen because it was in her mind and it was already out there. That's possible. What do you think? Do you think we're creating the future by suggesting it? Or is the future already there somewhere? Somehow we have access to it. Because it's kind of going into the future seems, I think Einstein kind of predicted that, or told you how to do that. It's an easy blueprint. You get into a vehicle, go the speed of light, time slows down, you pop up, you're in the future, but you're younger. Going back in time, that mechanically is impossible unless they were both happening at the same time. But if you go from here to here, and then back again, that means they're both happening at the same time, right? That's what I think. Like in Back to the Future, he went back and forth. He had to be going, both places had to exist at the same time. Because one thing to be like in a frozen state until the future, then you wake up, oh, there we are. But to go back in time would mean that the future is still connected to the past. You can go that way. Not just in a memory or a virtual sense. Because you can go basically far away, right? And then look back on the earth with something that's faster than the speed of light. If you look back, you can see the past. Right? Because that light is going somewhere. The light of the past is out there in the universe for somebody to catch. Right? So if you're somewhere else, if you could be somewhere where that light is, you can see that light coming from dinosaurs. You should be able to see dinosaurs. But, of course, they'll be dead already. It's like looking at a star. A star's gone already. You're seeing a star way out there, or some distant stars. Some of those stars are already gone. So you're basically looking into the past. That's probably an easier way to say it. But that past is gone. So you can see the past. There's a way. You can see the past, but to actually live in it, to interact in it, that would be impossible unless they were both happening simultaneously in a way we just don't understand. Well, anyways, it's funny how I got all that ideas from the lady that predicted the coronavirus. What do you think? What's your opinion on the whole thing? Is it, what is your opinion on the future? Is it already there? and the past still there somewhere now? Like the past and the future and the present, they're all happening at the same time, and we can actually go back. I guess not go back to when I was a kid, slap them around and say, "Go stay in school." Or is that not possible? I don't know. Makes you wonder. Oh well, there's something to think about. I had a thought I put out there. Maybe some of you smart people can come up with some ideas, and some of you dumb people can come up with dumber ideas. Well, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch anybody else's face. Put on the gloves. Wear a mask. I predicted it would be worse, by the way. Or when they were first saying it wasn't going to be so bad. It's nothing. It's like the flu. Well, it wasn't that I was a genius or anything, but they're saying that while all the doctors are covered up head to toe like astronauts. Well, that's not normal. That's not the flu. But that is not prediction. That was obvious intuition based on what they're saying and what they're showing us. Anyhow, thanks for watching Paul's Take, and that's my take on the future. What is my take on the future? I think it's there now. And the past is still alive somewhere. And the future is still alive somewhere. It's all happening at once, I think. But does that also mean that you can't change the future? I mean, maybe everybody has based on where you are now, you're in a trajectory to be somewhere in the future. But potentially you can change it, right? Or not. It's also kind of weird. If the future is already there, and the past is still there, does that mean we have any free will whatsoever? Or is it all just preordained? Or maybe it's not preordained, but we just can't figure out how the whole thing works. That's what it is. It's not preordained. We just don't have the brain power to figure out how I have free will now, but yet the future still exists. All right, well, I got cut off. So anyways, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching Paul's Take, and that is my take on all this weird stuff. I think it's real. Thanks for watching. Be clean. Be safe. Wash your hands. Up your butt.